welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video on how I got my undergraduate placement within the NHS. Also, I don't know if I'm liking my hair like this. I'm testing out a new hair styling tool, but I love how shiny it makes my hair look on the bright side. But I don't know if it's too obnoxious. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Anyway, let's get into the video. So I did my undergraduate placement in a community learning disability team within the NHS. I did it between my second and third year of university, and I did it for a whole year from September to September. It was completely unpaid. On this placement I did assessments for dementia on people with Down syndrome. So typically your university will help you find your undergraduate placement, but at my university, I went to the University of Sussex, there was only, I think, 4 or 5 NHS undergrad placements. The rest were in marketing and PR, so nothing that I was interested in. Out of those 4 placements, 2 were in Cornwall, which I actually applied for, which just shows how desperate I was for an undergrad placement. So I took matters into my own hands. I actually emailed loads of different psychology departments just by finding their emails on Google, on LinkedIn. I even emailed their trust HR department to see if they could connect me with the psychology departments within that trust. A few places did get back to me and they offered to look at my CV and cover letter, but I didn't get any interviews through that. I also googled undergraduate psychology placements and had a look at what came up, and at the time I remember that there was one placement at Great Ormond Street Hospital which I also applied for but didn't get any interviews for. It's super competitive. You really need to take matters into your own hands and figure out ways to get your CV out there and get your name out there and try and get yourself an interview in a creative way. So after emailing people, googling undergrad placements, I then looked on the NHS jobs website for honorary assistant psychologist posts. Now at the time I didn't realise that you had to be a graduate to apply for these jobs, so I began applying for them and then I realised like you needed a degree. So after realising that, I decided to contact the people advertising for this post to see whether they would take me on for a year. Luckily, someone replied and they were like, yes, we'd love to have you for a year because typically our honorary assistant psychologists only stay for a couple of months, so to have you for a year would be incredible. Doesn't matter if you're an undergrad, we'll work around it. So that is how I got my interview. So I didn't know whether to put in some tips about undergrad placement interviews because honestly I only had one, which just shows you how competitive it is even at undergrad level to get into the field of psychology. And that's why it's so important to not just rely on your university to link you in with undergrad placements, but to go out and search for yourself, because if I didn't do that then I wouldn't have had the placement, and honestly without that placement I wouldn't have got my assistant psychologist job now. I will share with you some of the tips that I think would be helpful for you. In that interview it was all knowledge-based questions, and so what I mean by that is that they asked, oh, what is dementia? What is Down syndrome? Why are dementia and Down syndrome linked? Before your interview, make sure you research the trust that you're applying for, the job that you're doing and the client group that you're working with, so that you're really knowledgeable on the facts and the figures. If they do ask a skills-based question, then I would say to try and be reflective, but the more important thing to do at an undergrad level is to link that skill with the job that you'll be doing. So for example, the skill could be communication and they ask you a question like, tell us about a time where you have used good communication skills. So you tell them about a time and then you say, this is important for this role because, and then you would link it to the job that you're applying for. Obviously it would be good to reflect if you can, but I wouldn't say it's necessary at an undergrad level. I would also say that it's important to show that you're passionate about the job you're applying for. Don't be afraid to say things like, I would love to work for this team, I'm really passionate about this service group because, and you can even link it to your personal life. So because my grandma had dementia, I spoke about that in my interview and said that was why I was really interested in working within a team that looks at that client group. So I think it is very helpful to show that you're passionate. You're going to be nervous during this interview, so what I always suggest is taking a breath before answering every question, and in your head you think it's a longer break but it's actually not. The pause, like a 1 or 2 second pause, actually isn't as long as it seems. So if I pause now for 2 seconds, in my head that felt like an eternity, but probably for you that didn't feel that long and it just seemed quite normal. So there's no need to rush into answering questions. Just pause, take a breath, and then go. So this is such a short video, and I wish I could give you more tips on the interview process and on the questions, but honestly that would just be a lie, and I don't want to do that to you guys. I get this question a lot, so I hope this answered any questions that you guys have about how I got my undergraduate placement. I would say it's so important. If you want to get into the field of psychology and become a clinical psychologist one day, then please, please, please prioritise doing a placement year at undergrad. It really helped me. I got some vital experience. It was great for my CV in that respect. It also showed me that clinical psychology was the right career choice for me. I think it was a good chance for me to explore what the field is and what it's like to be a clinical psychologist. It was just an all-round amazing experience. But that's not to say if you don't get a undergrad placement then you will be fine. It just might take you a bit longer. So I got my assistant psychologist job the year that I graduated. Now if I didn't have my undergrad placement year, I think I would have had to do a year's worth of volunteering. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. I make videos every single week. So until next time guys, I will see you later.